Mm.
Yeah. Hello, Suhas sir. Good afternoon, sir.
सर माझं आता सेशन सुरू होते. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, we will start now. Is that okay?
Yes, it is okay, no problem
Yes.
for me.
Kulkarni, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can start.
Yeah. Good afternoon and welcome once again for day one session of 1 week AICT sponsored 2 weeks online faculty development program on artificial intelligence and its application in biomedical engineering. I am Mrs. Vaishali Kulkarni from Rajarshi, JSPM's Rajarshi Shahu College of Engineering, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication. Would like to welcome our today's speaker, an eminent personality, Dr. Suhas Gajre, sir. I take this opportunity to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Suhas Gajre, sir. Sir is Dean Innovation and Dean Procurement in charge of Technology Innovation and Entrepreneurship Cell, Professor, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Institute of Engineering and Technology, Nanded. Sir has pursued his PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi in 2006 in biomedical engineering and masters from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad in 1995, being the topper. Sir is the recipient of various awards like World Eminence Award 2017 for the category of Prominent Research Contribution in ICT for the year 2016 at WS4 London, first rank in the university in Masters of Engineering examination, second rank in the university in Bachelor of Engineering examination, and gold medal from the institute in first year of engineering. Sir has visited many countries at international level as contribution to academia like keynote speaker in conference on smart trends in systems, security and sustainability, London, discussion about joint research at University of Glasgow, Scotland, a discussion at joint research work at University Technology Petronas, Malaysia, etc. In the International IEEE MTS Oceans 2016 in Shanghai, China, and discussion of research work at the State Key Laboratory of Brain and Cognitive Sciences, Hong Kong, etc., China, etc. Sir has his contribution in papers also in 13 journals, 17 conferences, national journals, then conferences 8, and also he has the credit to having the book chapter also. Sir has contributed in academics as a dean, industry licensing, and
Hello, Kulkarni, madam.
Yeah, I think her connection
There
is
is audio.
lost.
Sir, we will wait for 2 minutes. Hello, Kulkarni, madam. Sir, we will resolve the problem within 5 minutes.
Yes, no problem, no problem.
hello, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible, madam.
Yeah,
You can
actually,
continue.
yeah, sorry, there was a net issue at my end.
Madam, you
Yeah,
turn off your video.
yeah,
That
sure.
will help you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sir has contributed enormously in academia, such as a member of Board of the Studies in SRTMU Nanded, in the Board of Electronics Engineering, procurement, in charge for Center of Excellence in Signal and Image Processing, AICT expert committee, committee member for different committees like scrutiny of applications for new institute, scrutiny of applications for increase in intake, scrutiny of applications for extension of approval, consultancy for e-governance project, physical inspection of engineering in polytechnic colleges, and other committees, etc. So we are very fortunate to have you here as our first speaker for the today's session. So we welcome you, sir. May I now request sir to continue with the session. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Vaishali madam. I will switch off microphone, sorry, speaker from my end. Just give me a couple of seconds. Hello.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. If there is an echo, please let me know.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So what I will do is I will switch off my video because I'm presenting from my laptop, which is a pen-enabled laptop, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I need to use it in upright position like this. So probably you will see only the light there. So
Yeah.
basically, I will switch off my video, and I am available on audio, right?
Yes. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So let me share my presentation first,
Yes.
and then I will start.
Okay.
Just wait. I will share the screen. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Is my hello?
Yes, sir.
Is my pointer visible? Whatever I'm
Uh,
on the screen.
uh, no, sir.
I think it is not visible. So
Yeah, now it is visible, sir.
yeah, this
You
is
have,
the eraser
yes,
actually.
you are using eraser, I think so, sir.
This is the eraser.
Yeah.
I want pen. Okay. So I think then the application which I have started
Uh,
that is not getting connected to Zoom. So just give me a couple of
okay.
seconds, right? So I will have to use the pen which is inbuilt. This is the testing, right? So
Yeah,
that,
pen. Yeah.
so now is the pen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm writing something, but it is not visible.
No, sir. No, it's only pointer is visible to us, but not the writing part.
Okay, so that is, I think, the problem with Zoom application. No problem. Then I am testing because otherwise I will go on talking something, and
Yeah.
I will have to eraser to point something. Otherwise,
Uh,
you will not get anything. Okay.
Now we are getting the eraser, sir.
Yeah, only eraser you are getting.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
Or probably you will get the mouse also if I am having a mouse pointer.
Yeah, you are getting mouse. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, but whatever I am writing is not visible.
No, 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 sir.
Right. So no problem. I will try to use either eraser or mouse to explain
Okay.
try and see if I want to.
Okay.
There is some problem in sharing
Okay.
because of the Zoom app. Now laser pointer, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So I will start. Let me start now without wasting much time. So thank you very much to the organizers, both the organizers and the institute also, who have found me fit for all this lecture. And basically, when I got the invitation, I thought that it will be a lecture for say second or third day or something like that. But it's very good that this lecture is on the first day itself, and after the keynote session, my lecture is first. So when I came to know that my lecture is first, I quickly contacted madam and gave took permission rather for having a generalized topic, because it will set the tone for the entire FDP. Right? So I thank both the coordinators. So the topic I will you must have known, but this is the institute, the front building of our institute, and I have used three images for the institute. This is the first one, which is a little bit of obscured due to the which is in front of this. This is the second second picture which I have taken without any obstruction like tree or something like that. And this is the third picture. Is the third picture visible?
Sir, it is, yeah, yes, now it is visible.
Fine. So this is the third picture, which is the front building again from different angle, right? Now, why I have done this is to explain a simple point to everybody, right? So the same building, earlier I looked from the kind of say a bird's eye view. It's not bird's eye view, but from the distance where some of the obstruction was available. Then I came near to the building, and then there was no obstruction available. And finally, I came so near to the building that then from a different angle, I can see this, right? So there is some methodology in whatever I am doing basically. I want you to recognize this, and then I will tell, right? So please recognize this. You can either use the chat window or anything which you can you use either the chat window to answer this? I am looking at chat. If somebody can answer this, what is this? Can somebody answer? Or you can just switch on your microphone and you can answer. Is my chat visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can see. So what is this? Can you recognize? Anybody?
Is it the Chinese words?
It looks like Chinese, but it's actually Japanese, right? It looks like Chinese, but it is Japanese. So it is Kaizen. Now the pain is visible. I am so happy. The pain is visible. I am very happy.
Yes.
It's Kaizen, right? And some of you definitely know the meaning of Kaizen. It is change. Change is good, right? So change is good. So it's a Japanese technology, Kaizen, where you change something, then it's good for you. If you change something, it's good for you. Okay. So why I am using this particular thing to start? Because we are having this topic for the 2 weeks of online faculty development program, artificial intelligence and its applications in biomedical engineering. And since I am so as to say, except the first keynote lecture, this is the first lecture, so it should set up the tone for the prospective researchers who are here to know, they are here eager to know what are the topics in biomedical engineering, then what is that, what you can do, what kind of research is available, and that's why I have chosen this topic as bird's eye view. But since it is artificial intelligence, which is a kind of new technique, and there are various things inside this artificial intelligence, okay, so are just going into some of the unorthodox ways. So, by the way, what was the graphic on this slide? Just you show, just I have shown to you. If you are seeing correctly, I like interactive lectures. Please understand. Okay, although we don't have that much infinite time, but I like interactive lectures. So the graphic on the first slide was this, and this particular image is very famous. This is called as Vitruvian Man. This image is given by Da Vinci, and everybody probably know from this audience who is Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, who was one of the great artists and philosopher, right? So one of the less known sides of Da Vinci is that he was also involved into what is called as biometric measurement of human being. He was also involved in anatomy. So there are various sketches of Da Vinci available. For example, these sketches are for heart and the blood vessels and everything, right? So Da Vinci is one of the pioneers in even the measurements, like what we today call as biometrics, right? What we today call as biometrics, Da Vinci is one of the pioneers of this particular measurements. So what is the measurement from head to toe? Then how the so this first image is actually a kind of biometric, right? So if you have certain distance between your leg, and then you raise your arms, right, like this, then you have some angle, and then you can draw a circle around your whole body. So this is what he has observed, and there are so many things which he has done. His contribution to biomedical engineering, so as to say, is immense contribution. Okay. Now, what was the background slide on the first background graphic on the first slide? Now, since this is not one is to one face-to-face lecture, it's very difficult that I should wait for all these. Instead of that, I will just show you what was the background graphic on the slide. So this was the background graphic on the slide, right? I will just make this better and keep it at the front. So can somebody tell me what kind of signal are you looking at? In the chat window, what kind of signal are you looking at? Ashwini Kulkarni madam has said ECG. No, it's wrong answer. And by the way, if this is ECG, sorry to say, but if this is ECG, the patient will die. Okay, unfortunately, because there is nothing regularity here. The complete waveform, and please don't mind. Please give answers, even if they are wrong answers. I like and I congratulate Ashwini Kulkarni madam that she answered, right? So this is very important that somebody should attempt answering, and that is what the change which I want, right? It should not be just a monologue. Okay, so this is actually a kind of EEG, that's correct, and EEG is the long form of EEG is electroencephalogram. But later we will see what is this. There are multiple waveforms here. As you can see, this is the first waveform, the second waveform, third waveform, fourth waveform, and so on. Right? So there are various waveforms like this. These waveforms are taken at various intervals and over the skull, and this there is some event happening somewhere. I will come back to this slide sometime later. So that event is a very funny event, and it happens during every lecture. Okay. Is it a wrong slide? No, it is not wrong slide. So everybody probably may recognize who is this person. This is a famous movie called as Krish, right? So one of the Krish 3 or something like that. So I don't remember exactly, but it's Krish 3. And I'm not interested in the hero here. I'm more interested in the villain of Krish. I'm more interested in the villain of Krish. So he, right? So why I'm interested in this villain? I do not want to become the villainous person, but I want to recall from all your memory that this person, this villain, was kind of person called as paraplegic person. Means he can move only one or two of his hands, but his brain was very perfect, right? So his brain cells and his overall thinking was very good. That is another.
काय देता म्हणे आपल्याला एक्झॅक्ट किती लोक आले बरं म्हटलं एक्झॅक्ट समजलं त्यानं तुम्हाला फायदा काय देता नाही म्हणे किती मतदान झालं अरे म्हटलं त्याचा आउटपुट काय तुम्हाला काहीच नाही ना तुम्हाला डाटा पाहिजे ना हे काय डाटा लिहा बरं 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 समजेल दोन पाठ 50 ची बेरीज लावायची होती त्याचे 4 नॉट अप्लिकेबल संपलं 17
Switch off their microphones. Yeah, thank you. So the chair he was moving with either buttons or probably even using his brain signals, isn't it? So this kind of sci-fi movies you must have seen, or you must have been aware of all these movies sci-fi where something or the other happens. Bond movies, for example, they were much ahead of their contemporary time, right? Whether this is possible or not, it's perfectly possible. Actually, this particular video I wanted to play.
So we're controlling the processes on an instant by instant basis. This is our robot arm. This is our training that we go through. We pull out of the wires into our system, and our computers decode what it is that the monkey is intending to do, and drive this arm forward and backward and around.
Where they have first tested the robot like this.
The monkeys have brain control over this robot.
And then they have given this robot, they have put this robot aside and used monkey's brain signals. Here you can see.
Incredible as it may seem,
the monkey you can see.
Monkeys learn to feed themselves with
the
robot
monkey is
arm
thinking to eat marshmallows.
Controlled by their brains.
Right? So marshmallows are kept there. And monkey is controlling this robot arm
an experiment, and
with their brain signals.
Almost an automatic learning that's going on. Where we're communicating with the animal by
very famous experiment people have done.
If a robot arm moves or a cursor moves in virtual reality, that's information to the animal as to how well it's doing. It only gets a reward.
When the lecture, you can find the monkey experiment, marshmallow, etc.
So we're controlling.
There is another video which is named as Man Controls Robotic Hand with Mind. So let me just play this video for a while.
For nearly a month, 27-year-old Pierpaolo Petruzzello was the bionic man science fiction writers have long envisioned,
you can see,
using only his mind to control a mechanical hand connected to his nervous system. I had a car accident in 2006 caused by a drunk driver. My car turned upside down, and I lost my left hand and
And he
forearm.
lost his
My
left
father was
hand.
devastated and began searching online for projects that could help me.
Then he
That
came
pioneering
across
project turned out to
researchers.
be at Rome's Campus Biomedical, a university and hospital developing a bionic hand in collaboration
And they
with
were
St. Anna
developing a
School in
bionic
Pisa,
hand.
Italy. After passing several tests, the Brazilian Petroziello was enrolled
His
in the
name was
right hand project.
Petroziello.
4 miniature electrodes were surgically implanted in what remained of his left arm.
So there were
These
some
electrodes helped him
electrodes
recognize
inserted
and
in his
control the
left hand,
biomechanical hand.
and then there was a hand.
Basically, we
Which
set
was
up
attached to
various
it,
stimuli.
robotic
He had to
hand.
learn how to localize them in his
And
lost
then
hand and
here you can
fingers.
see that
The
hand,
prosthetic
right?
itself was
Amputated
not
hand.
implanted, only
And then
connected through
using the
electrodes.
EMG signals, he was just thinking of
I needed a
doing
lot of
something.
electrical stimulation. Like the majority of amputees, I still
And using
perceived
the
my lost
EMG,
hand. As they stimulated my arm with needles,
the
I
hand
closed my
was
eyes and
controlled.
tried to think that my hand did exist. You don't have your hand. You don't have your forearm, so how can you control the hand's
So this
movements?
also you can
It's
see
difficult to
later,
explain.
mind
I
controls
closed my
robotic
eyes
hand.
and repeated to myself, your hand
Mind.
does exist. It's there, it's
Right?
in place.
So these are the experiments which are sufficient to just make you aware and make you think that what is biomedical engineering, how far it has reached. So although these experiments are much older, right now the field has advanced a great deal, right? So just let me pick up a laser pointer again. Okay. So this field has picked up a pace lately, and this is one of the fastest growing field, right? And here you will find what is biomedical engineering. So these are some of the biomedical engineering specialties. We will see some history of biomedical engineering. Then we'll see what are the BME skills needed and major areas to look for. Then I will also talk about some examples. Let us see whether we get time or not. And finally, I will conclude with some epilogue. Now, since the time is short, it's almost just 1 hour to me. I will be very fast. And this slide explains actually my presentation style. It's an extremely long presentation, very extremely long presentation, and it will contain many slides, right? So you will find that this is just like a slideshow. I'm zipping through all the slides, but that's my habit, right? And my habit I have kept developed because that it releases certain chemicals, what is called as happy chemicals. When the things are fast paced, when there are some cartoons included, I have a lot of cartoons included in my slides, right? So there are some happy chemicals which will be released in your body, and you will feel good as well as you will get the most of the things. Second reason is that there are a lot of slides available. I will show all the slides in PDF format to the organizers, and you will get these slides from the organizers later, and this can be used as a kind of say reference when you study. Okay. So this is the actually one of the cartoon during the good old days. People used to tell that slides should be very less in number, so that sometimes what happens, there was a laser pointer, and if you just keep laser pointer on the slide for 15 minutes, it will burn. Okay, so just take it as a joke. So most of you have come here for this. You want to increase your research skill. You need to work on your research skill. And during the good old days, if you want to find the answer of some question like what is the meaning of life, you will go to Himalayas. There will be some Baba sitting somewhere, and this Baba will give you advice. But in the modern days, even if you go to Himalayas, the Baba will say that use Google, isn't it? Use Google for this, and then you will be perplexed to see that you have climbed all the way, and that is what Baba is saying. Google to hame bhi pata hai. I know what Google, right? But me as a different Baba, as I am telling earlier, I will have slightly different viewpoint, a different angle. So I have not Google, but Google Scholar, right? So most of you might be knowing Google Scholar, but for those who don't know, Google Scholar is a specialized search for all the publications which are there in any area, right? So what I did, I just searched a bird's eye view on artificial intelligence like this. So this is the search window, the search string which I used. And this I have done yesterday only, right? So this I have done just yesterday, somewhere after the lunch, right? And what I found that these are some of the papers, right? So bird's eye view, vision system for vehicle surrounding system, bird's eye view of deep learning in image analysis, and immediately the second paper got my attention. Okay, so just I saw that it is a bird's eye view on deep learning in bioimage analysis, and this is what is the most of the people who are trying nowadays bioimage analysis, and so I just went to that paper. So fortunately, the PDF of that paper was available. As you can see, full PDF of that paper was available. I immediately downloaded that full paper and saw this, right? About view, very good. So it is published, as you can see, recently. So it is accepted on 1st of August 2020 and available online on 7th of August, and it's an Elsevier publication. So probably this paper is good. So I will just read the abstract for those who are watching this presentation on mobile. It is very difficult to read this. So I have just copied this abstract here. Then I can read it. Deep learning of artificial neural networks has become the de facto standard approach to solve data analysis problems in virtually all fields of science and engineering. Also in biology and medicine, deep learning technologies are fundamentally transforming how we acquire, process, analyze, and interpret data with potentially far-reaching consequences for healthcare. In this mini review, please use this word, right? So just keep attention to this word. In this mini review, we take bird's eye view at the past, present, and future. And then I found that this man is thinking what I am thinking, and instead of doing the research on all this deep learning, so this person has done a deep research, right? So development of deep learning, starting from science at large to biomedical imaging and bioimage analysis in particular. So it's a great. So I said that this is a great thing which he has done. So I just gone through the paper. Then he has also shown what do you mean by this deep learning. Then how this deep learning is now influential. What are the publications record? As you can see, from 2014 onwards, the publications. So this is deep learning from Google Scholar. This is machine learning from Google Scholar, right? And the blue one, this blue one will be AI from the Google Scholar. Okay, so he has given graphs of all these three, and as you can see, during the last few years, the number of publications which are involving artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning is growing, right? So that's great. That's why probably the organizers have kept this topic as artificial intelligence in biomedical engineering in particular, right? So congratulations for that. And what is bioimage analysis? Basically, bioimage analysis deals with imaging part, the enhancement of the images, detection of certain events, segmentation of the images, then tracking, which is called as object tracking, then quantification of something, then classification of something, visualization, which is a 3D visualization probably, analysis, and finally modeling part. So all these things are part of bioimage analysis, and there are various applications of deep learning according to the author, right? Then I thought, okay, let us see what other things are there, right? From this, so whether you can find something. So I have found out that when I searched that paper in that NCBI, so there was another paper, artificial intelligence in image analysis fundamentals and new developments, somewhere here. So this paper was dealing with only the machine deep learning. So I thought, why not to see if there is any paper available in artificial intelligence, and I got it. So when I searched this paper, it was artificial intelligence in image analysis fundamentals and new development, but unfortunately this paper is in German language. This paper is in German language and it is not available as a full PDF. Then I got disappointed. Then I saw that what are the references given in the earlier paper. And to my amazement, as you can see, there are 315 references he has given. 315. It's a big number. And I told you to remember his words, mini review. Correct? He said that it is mini review. So if this is mini review using 315 references, then what would be the actual review, a major review? 1,000 papers, maybe more than 1,000 papers, right? So then I searched through this some of the papers whether they are useful to me, and then I got attention to one paper at the number 267. That some Ahuja. It looks Indian name, so immediately this is the tendency that if it is Indian, then it must be easy, isn't it? So the impact of artificial intelligence in medicine on the future role of the physician. So this looks like a futuristic topic, right? So I immediately searched for this paper, and fortunately the paper is available. Full paper is available in HTML format, as well as the paper is his thesis is available. Abhimanyu Ahuja, the person has done in May 2019 a Bachelor of Science in Liberal Arts and Sciences with a concentration in neuroscience. Now, since they are much forward in the US about the education system, and as you know, they have Bachelor of Science in Liberal Arts and Sciences with a concentration in neuroscience. And this is what is the new education, National Education Policy 2020 is all about, right? So government is bringing some sweeping changes where this kind of education will be allowed in India very soon. So I got interested in this person. So what this person is doing? So I searched his Google Scholar citations, and the Google Scholar paper I could find that within just 2 years, 2019 and 2020, this person has got almost 68 citations, almost more than 68, 65 citations within just 2 years. And when I use this year for the search string, then you will find that in 2020 alone, this person has published 6 papers in 2007, 7 papers in 2020 itself. So 7 papers in 2020, then some papers in 2019. Who is this person? What is he doing right now? And then when I find some of the papers, for example, artificial intelligence and COVID-19, a multidisciplinary approach, I got interested in this person, what he is doing. I could find on Twitter that there is some FAU College of Medicine has tweeted his picture and this particular paper, artificial intelligence and COVID-19. And then I searched on LinkedIn what he has done and what he is doing. So after the Bachelor of Science in Cellular Neuroscience, he is right now doing Doctor of Medicine, MD, right? He is doing Doctor of Medicine. This is how research is progressing, right? And if a Bachelor of Science student can produce this much papers, why not PhD people, right? So we should always ask such tough questions to us. Why cannot we do all this research? Of course, it requires a lot of efforts, but we should at least try for that. Okay. So in one of his paper, that paper which I searched, artificial intelligence definitions and etc. are written, which I am not going through, right? But I got caught attention to this. That's why I have just put these 2 slides, because as I told you, I am giving these slides to everybody. You can read later and just get it, right? So in one of the references, which is the article, Your Future Doctor May Not Be Human. This is the article given by Norman, and this Norman reference is also given later, you can find, right? So what Norman says, the role of AI in healthcare is not necessarily about pitting human minds against machine. Rather, the AI in the exam room to expand, sharpen, and at times ease the mind of the physician so that the doctors are able to do the same for their patients, right? So basically the role of AI is not about the replacing the physician. It's rather, it's about optimizing and improving what they already do, right? So that's why, so this is that paper by Abby Norman. It is available on internet. You can just download from the site called as futurism.com, right? Futurism.com. So this is the slide, right? Sometimes we must read all these papers and everything because this is article basically, but you should read, you should be aware of what are the things going on everywhere. So this is the image which he has given with AI in medicine. Doctors will have to spend less time doing this, right? So then basically, as I told you that I am having some different viewpoint. Images speak a lot more than words. So what I did a long back, I mean, this was sometime in May 2019, I searched on images.google.com the word called as biomedical engineering, right? And what I got lot of things. So this is that what I got. So biomedical engineering, right? So these are some of the images. So what I have done, I have just taken screenshots. So this is the first image which I got. As you can see here, in earlier image, this was the first image, and this is the first image. So I have kept the original image here and expanded version here. So this lady is doing something under microscope probably. Okay. Then this is the second image, some kind of say bionic hand. Then the third image, it's a kind of say biomedical chemical engineering related. The fourth image, this is a person probably who has lost his leg or lost some of the parts of leg and is trying to walk with some futuristic development. Okay. Okay, so this is also a kind of biomedical engineering because in career in biomedical engineering, it is everything is given. Then this lady is watching some skull there, right? So it's just a funny way to put the skull in on the website, but definitely some imaging part they want to show you. Then again some lab environment and something like that. This is again the chemical side of it. This person is showing again skull. This is biomedical engineering showcase, the people, and as you can see, a lot of Chinese people are here basically because it's a department of biomedical engineering in NUS, National University of Singapore. So they look like Chinese, but they are not Chinese. Okay. So this is EEG, right? So this person is the person is as a subject for acquiring EEG. Very good. Then lots of wires. The most of the people who are doing this FDP are definitely electronics or computer or electrical side. So I know that once you see wires, your eyes will blink. Okay. And this is a composite image, a kind of say collage, where you have seen some of the operation table, probably a bionic hand, then injection, and artificial intelligence, EEG, and then some plant engineering, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So basically, this explains what is biomedical engineering in short. So biomedical engineering is where engineering crosses medicine and healthcare. Okay. Basically, it is just engineering plus medical, right? Which is biomedical engineering, isn't it? And the field is not limited to one or two, right? So it involves many things, and some of the overlapping things, some of the cross-disciplinary, some of the interdisciplinary, right? So many things are available here. So there is a working definition of biomedical engineering which is this long. Okay, so blah 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 like that. Biomedical engineering integrates this. You read it at your own pace. What is biomedical engineering? Basically integrates physical, chemical, mathematical, computational sciences and engineering and applies them to the healthcare. So this is in short what is biomedical engineering. Okay. So which are the specialties then in biomedical engineering? Lots of specialties. As we were looking at different uh, pictures there, right? So you must have seen some kind of bioinstrumentation here, right? You must have seen some kind of biomaterials here, the specialized material which are used in prosthesis, right? So some of the biomechanics also you must have seen. I will explain some of the specialties in smaller detail, not that much detail. You must have seen biomedical computing and image processing also. You must have seen biomedical engineering, biomolecular engineering, sorry. You must have seen MEMS. Probably MEMS were not shown, but there is a specialty called as biomems. In minimally invasive surgeries, healthcare systems, bioinformatics, clinical engineering, tissue engineering, and many more specialties exist in the biomedical engineering field, right? Okay, so cartoon time. So who gains with research? If you are doing PhD, then who gains with research? This cartoon explains it all. All my colleagues are doing aging research, but I am simply aging. Okay, take it lightly. For those people who have more than 6 years and 7 years of research, I know what the hell is the life, right? The life is a hell for those people, because PhD is not getting completed, and then you have a lot of family problems. So this is not just to undermine their efforts, right? So this is just to release the happy chemicals in your mind. So as I am very history buff, so I want to read history first, because why I like that person who has written that he has looked in the mini review, he has looked past, present, and future. So I perfectly all right. He is a probably good researcher. I have not seen his many papers, but he is probably good researcher, because unless you see the past and present, you cannot invent future. That is my firm belief, right? So I will have a brief history of biomedical engineering. So it's just an overview, and I will look at some of the critical inventions that shaped the modern life, right? So this was the early years of BME. Early years means very, very early years, where, as you can see in the experiment, for example, I'll read this. In the experiment 3, in December, I laid a common field gate on the ground, on which a white mare was cast on her right side. So here you can see this is a gate. Field gate means it is a kind of compound gate, right? And this is a white mare, a horse, right? It's a horse basically, was cast on her right side, female horse, right? So on the right side, because that was other was right side, this is the left side of the horse. And in the posture bound fast the gate, then laying bare the left carotid artery, I fixed it towards the heart and the brass pipe, and to that windpipe of the goose, to the other end which glass tube was fixed, which was 12 feet 9 inches long. Basically what they were doing, as you can see, they just broke apart the artery of the horse, then put a tube inside that, and then found out how much the blood rose. Correct. So the blood rose in the tube in the same manner as in the case of the two former horses, and till it reached 9 feet 6 inches height. So what they were basically trying to do, as you must have guessed, is they were trying to measure the blood pressure. They were trying to measure the blood pressure. And my God, if today this kind of instrumentation is there to measure the blood pressure, everyone will of course die, right? So it is not, obviously no one will allow this kind of blood pressure measurement equipment to be existing in the market, but definitely these were some of the early experiments which were there for to measure the blood pressure. So basically if you divide the biomedical engineering before 1900s, so medicine was nothing to offer for common individuals. So it was basically meant for kings and queens and prince and princesses, right? But in the 20th century, because of the advancements of democracy and science, right? So giant strides were made, and in the early 1900s, there was a first advances in medical diagnostic and imaging, right? For example, in 1896, Röntgen, as you must be knowing, developed X-ray imaging, and basically X-ray imaging was developed as an accident, right? So, as you might be aware, that in early 1900s, this X-ray imaging was developed. This was the first picture, probably, or purported to be first picture of the X-ray with a ring, right? So he took the X-ray of his wife, and this ring is shown. I don't know the validity of this picture, but the ring is shown there, and it is said to be the ring in the hands of the wife of Röntgen, right? But nowadays, with the digital X-ray technology, the knee is quite visible, and there are very good ways you can have X-ray imaging, right? So a kind of digital X-ray are now available. Okay, digital X-rays are now available. Can you identify this? Just a small break from my side. I will keep this picture for 1 or 2 minutes. If somebody can identify what is this, probably then you can send me your Google Pay account. I can transfer money sufficient to buy a simple chocolate, Cadbury, as an incentive. Can somebody identify this? What this person is doing? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Newspaper reading is wrong answer. But it's okay, Aruna. At least you have tried to give answer. Ashwini Kulkarni. Yes, madam. This is correct answer. Please send me offline your Google Pay ID and which chocolate, Cadbury chocolate you like. I will send money just as an incentive. Okay. So it's the first ECG recording. Anurag ji, it is not hitting of leg, right? Basically, it is the ECG recording. So this leg obviously is kept in some kind of tub, but you can also observe that the left hand is also kept on in the tub and right hand is also kept in the tub. So what they are trying to measure is the electrical signals coming from the left leg. So this is a left leg, this is left hand, and this is right hand. Okay, so they are trying to measure the signals coming from three locations: left leg, left hand, and right hand. And probably the ground is somewhere which is connected to his right leg. Okay, the ground is connected to something called as right leg. And basically, when you see this, then what is on the left hand side is a big machine kind of thing, and you will be amazed to know that there was even no transistor invented till this point. There was no transistor invented this till this point. This is basically in the 1906 where Einthoven developed the first electrocardiogram. Einthoven developed the first electrocardiogram, right? And you know that even vacuum tubes were in the research labs at till that point. Only I think telephony was definitely discovered, but invented rather, but there was no amplification, nothing. What they used, here, they converted the electrical signal into mechanical signals, and those mechanical signals were later recorded. It's very fascinating to go in the history of all this. So I encourage all those researchers who want to do research in biomedical engineering to go to the internet, find out the resources, read the history. So unless you read the history, you will complain always that I don't get facility. Somebody is saying PPT showing different image here, PPT not matching with your explanation. I doubt, because I have another login which I have logged in. I can show you, and that is my habit actually, that I log in with two different accounts. And here you can see I am watching the same image on my desktop also, right? So I doubt that that is happening, but still, if it is there, then probably there is a problem from your end. Okay, so some of you probably can tell me if this is happening. Okay, so if uh, my talk is not matching with my slides, so please alert me. Yes, thank you, Mahendraji, for alerting me. But if this is happening again and again, please let me know, because then that will be a kind of serious thing. Then I have to log in again. Okay. So I was discussing this, that basically that people complain that I don't get facilities, I don't have this thing. But the research actually can thrive in any environment. For research, you don't need equipment. For research, you need philosophy, and that's why it is doctor of philosophy, right? So you don't need equipment. You have to do best in the available conditions, right? So please ignore my comment if already you have got best of the equipment, right? So he won the Nobel Prize for his invention, because people knew that this is related to heart. Heart is the very important organ in the body, and if you are getting electrical signals from heart, then it's good, right? So nowadays you may be knowing that there is a ECG recording called as 12 lead ECG recording, but the principle will remain same. As you can see, left leg, then left hand, which is called as LA, LL, then RA, right hand, and it is measured with respect to right leg. So right leg is ground. Okay, and then these potentials are then measured as lead 3 between left leg to left hand, lead 2 between the right arm to left leg, and lead 1 between the left arm to right arm. So this is lead 1, this is lead 2, and this is lead 3. So these are three basic leads in the ECG recording. I'm not going to explain the entire ECG recording. I'm just telling you how it is done. And there are 6 leads which are unipolar leads. So these leads are, earlier leads were bipolar leads. There are 6 unipolar leads, and then you get, so bipolar limb leads are 1, 2, 3, and there are some augmented unipolar limb leads which I am not explaining right now, and there are 6 chest leads. So this is a 12 lead ECG. 12 lead ECG. Okay. And this looks, in the modern days, this ECG looks something like this, right? It's a regular recording, right? So this is a recording, ECG recording of a normal person. Okay. I'm not going into the details, sorry, but this lead 2 says it all. This is inverted lead 2 basically, but this lead 2 says it all. Okay. This is abnormal ECG, because you can see, although it is abnormal, the ROs, what they are called heartbeats, right? They are quite visible. Okay. In earlier slides, when I showed the background image, there was nothing regular, correct? So that's why that is definitely not ECG. So in 1920s, you had refrigeration, then you have first mechanical respirator. In 1930s, you had heart lung machine, and you had development of electron microscope. In 40s and 50s, then you had major developments in cardiovascular medicine. You have development of angiography, that is the local visualization of arteries and vein, right?
So it is as far as 1941. You can just imagine how people were daring to do all those things, right? And then first use of artificial tissue replacement is in 1954, and invention of pacemaker is 1955. Just imagine, right? The transistor, solid state transistor, I mean, was invented in 1947, right? So 1947, where the solid state transistor was invented, and BJT is 1949. So it's just 2 years apart, right? So BJT is 1949. In 1955, even ICs were not invented, but people were trying to do the pacemaker, which is the electrical stimulation given to the heart if the original stimulation, I mean autonomic stimulation, fails to work. So if you want to see more, you can go through this document. This is a very good document, Golden Accomplishments in Biomedical Engineering. And they have made it long back, I mean, in 2002, right? So in 2002, they have published this Golden Accomplishments in Biomedical Engineering. It was the 50th anniversary of IEEE EMBA Society, Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society, right? So you can just Google for it or send mail to me. I can send you this publication. What the document says, the document basically says that it was especially through the instrumentation for measuring and imaging that engineering influenced the biomedicine. But there is a flip side also. Although there are a lot of advantages of this, there are a lot of disadvantages also. For example, biomedical engineering was seen as both part of the problem because it raised the cost of healthcare, and it's a part of solution also, obviously. But this is a very important concept, that if it is raising the cost of healthcare, but on the good side of it, it is improving healthcare also. So somehow we have to must strike balance in the countries like us, right? So that's why you cannot afford excellent medical systems everywhere throughout the country. Ours is a very large country, please understand. But we must try to improve our GDP, improve our economy, and give affordable but excellent healthcare to all. And COVID-19 has given us an opportunity to improve this. I hope administrators and politicians are living up to expectation, right? So this paper actually divided the entire, I mean, it was published in 2002. So it has divided into decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And I have picked up one image from each of this, right? For example, 1950s, there was a electrical stimulation of the heart, which is called as a pacemaker, as I told you, right? This is a pacemaker. And this is a volunteer for the pacemaker. If you are a fan of movies, as I am, this is Anand Bhai, right? This is Anand Bhai. Anand Bhai, you must remember from Munna Bhai MBBS, right? So he is Anand Bhai kind of thing, right? In 1950s, as I called, a pacemaker, right? So this is the smallest pacemaker in 1960, somewhere around 1960. Then in 1960, there was a entry of ultrasound. Now, ultrasound, as you know, is working on the principle of sound waves, right? So you have sound waves, then you just place the body or any say arm or something in the obstruction, as an obstruction there, and the reflection of the sound wave can give you certain kind of image. Okay, so this image is one of the telling thing about the nature of biomedical engineer, because then you have to first do it on yourself, isn't it? So pehle khud karke dikhao kind of thing, right? So you have to do it on yourself first. Color Doppler came in 1970, which is actually advancement of this sound wave only, but here the Doppler principle is used. Okay. Then 1970s, X-ray plus computers, because in 1970s there was a computing revolution, right? IBM and other PEC, I think, have given lots of desktop computers. So X-ray plus computer is nothing but computed tomography, or what we call as CT image, right? So computed tomography image is basically coming from X-rays, right? So you have lots of X-rays taken at different slices, and then you use a concept called as reverse tomography to find an image. Okay. So this is then in 70s another thing came, chemical plus magnet, which you called as nuclear magnetic resonance imaging, right? NMR. So here also you can see the inventor himself putting his leg in NMR imaging, right? And the similar concepts then it expanded in what is called as MRIs, right? So magnetic resonance imaging. And then you have magnetic resonance imaging. This is the full body MRI machine. This is a major challenge, but this is a team which produced first whole body image by MRI. Okay, and then you can have a functional MRI also. So this image is basically functional MRI image. Okay. So there are more advancements. There is robotic surgeries and everything. In nowadays, you know that there are lots of advancements even in the robotic surgery, right? So what are the BME skills required if you want to enter in biomedical engineering? Extremely interdisciplinary. So these skills must be uh, from science, science means physics, chemistry, biology, biochemistry, not expert in all the fields, but at least you should know some of the things from some of the fields. Then in engineering, you should know some chemical or electrical or mechanical, anything. In medicine, you should know some kind of radiology. If you want to do definitely image processing, you must know the radiology, oncology, cardiology, if you know heart related things, etc., etc. And communication is the key. Basically, not in BME environment, in any environment. As a simple thing, I mean, I can just give you an example that what is the meaning of frequency, right? What is the meaning of frequency? So for us, electrical engineers, electronics background engineers, frequency means it's 1 upon time period, right? It's 1 upon time period. So our say power line is 50 hertz frequency, then our sound is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz frequency, etc., etc. But what is the frequency mean to the doctors? Now, if you ask the doctor what is frequency, probably they will say ki, this tablet you should take once a day or twice a day, or you should come to me at least once in a month. So that is the frequency for him, isn't it? So if you try to explain a person, say ECG specialist, that you have taken ECG and you are trying to explain the frequency components of ECG. So this is the frequency response of ECG, frequency versus amplitude. It looks something like this. Okay, something like this. So if you are explaining this kind of thing to doctor, so it is very difficult for him to understand what is frequency. So you must have this ability to interface between multiple disciplines, right? So you must develop this ability. And there are various levels of organizations also. So you must go from the organizational level to the system level to organ level, probably to the tissue level, maybe to the cellular level, and maybe to chemical level inside the atoms, and through DNA, obviously, right? So it depends on your field of research, but you should be having some levels of organization. And I like this figure, that's why I put. Otherwise, I will not explain what is this. This is basically a beautiful color picture of a human cell, right? Just to make your eyes pleasing. Okay. Now, what is biomedical instrumentation? Biomedical instrumentation is just application of electronics and measurement principles to develop devices which are used in diagnosis and treatment of disease, right? So examples, as we have seen, ECG, cardiac pacemaker, blood pressure measurement, kidney dialysis, etc., etc. Basically, it all starts with electrical activity of the excitable cells in our in body, whole body, right? So, for example, on the top hand side, this is a neuron action potential. This word you must see if you want to go in biomedical engineering. So action potential is the kind of say electrical activity you can capture outside the cell, from outside the cell to the inside of the cell. So if this is cell, you can just capture the activity from outside of the cell to the inside of the cell, and this activity is called as action potential. So neuron has this kind of graph, so as to say, for the action potential, but for that you must give certain stimulus to this neuron. So you require a stimulus to the neuron, and then only it will start action potential with a two things called as depolarization and repolarization, and both of them are with either sodium and potassium influxes and outfluxes, right? So without going into the details of this, just I have given this figure to explain the two action potentials. This is a action potential of heart cells. As you can see, there is a quite a difference between neuronal action potential and heart cell action potential. As you can see here, the width is narrow here, but here width is very large, right? Here the width is very large, here width is very narrow. 0 millivolt is appearing here, probably 0 millivolt is appearing here, right? So all these differences are there. Similarly, for other cells also, for example, muscle cells or any other part of the body, you have different action potentials. And why these action potentials are important? Because it is with the help of such action potentials only you will get a complete signal. For example, this is the electrical behavior of heart, where I am having action potential at different points. So this is the point which is actually called as stimulus of the heart, and this operates autonomously. This operates as autonomously. It is called a pacemaker of heart, original pacemaker of the heart. Parlance of all this, it's called a sinus atria, right? So sinus atria, sinus node. This is the action potential of the sinus node. Then this is another. It's called as AV node, right? So this is AV node. This is the action potential of AV node, right? Similarly, this is ventricle muscle, and this is the action potential of the ventricle muscle. And if you just combine all these action potentials with respect to time, as you can see here, different times, right? Then you will find the complete waveform of ECG appearing in front of your eyes. Okay, complete waveform of ECG appearing in front of your eye. So it's basically start from the action potential of individual muscle signals, right? So similarly, you can capture the electrical activity of brain by putting different electrodes separated in special domain, and then you can start with the neuron, as I told you, and some neuron potential, how they travel, and finally some EEG waveforms, and these are actually parts of EEG waveform. Okay, so there are four normally bands in the EEG waveform, which are called alpha band, beta band, theta band, and delta band. Okay, so these are the four bands which are probably most popular bands in the EEG waveforms, with their different frequencies, as you can probably see. And this is a kind of uh, EEG where eyes were closed during the first part, then eyes were open between the second part, and then again eyes were closed between the third part. So if you want to differentiate between the events, for example, eyes open and eyes closed, then you can find out from certain sections of EEG waveforms, right? So the first slide which I have shown earlier, this was the slide, right? So is actually an EEG waveform, 16 channel EEG recording from a subject during snoring, right? So if it is a long lecture, then participants are definitely falling asleep, right? Although it is not live lecture, but I know that some of you are snoring, isn't it? So if those who are not snoring can say, I am not, sir, no, sir, no, sir. You can chat that no, sir, no, sir. So then I can understand you are not snoring. All others are snoring, isn't it? So Amirabji is not snoring, Mahendraji is not snoring. Mahendraji is snoring, yes. Okay. Okay. And you have to identify, just take it as lightly, it's a joke. Okay. But you have to identify as an electrical signal or electronics person, which is the part which is non-snoring part and which is the part which is a snoring part. So basically, I know which is snoring part. So this part where the person is snoring, right? So you have to identify this either. Yes, Mahendraji, yes. Active listening is yes, I can understand, right? So this is the part where the person is snoring. So with different techniques, such as either time domain techniques or frequency domain techniques, which you will listen to in the entire course of your FDP.
Many experts must be taking lectures on either signal processing or image processing, or even using wavelets, Fourier transforms, etc., etc. You will be finding it interesting to how to get all those pattern classification things, right? So what to do with signals? Basically nothing. Acquire the signal, process the signal, and use the signal. That is what you have to do, right? How to acquire the signal? You have electrodes, transducers, take data, logbooks. Logbook is also a signal because it's a digital signal, right? Discrete time signal. How to process? Amplify it, remove the noise, filter the uninteresting part, enhance, extract the features, get information, transform the signals, deduce some information, correlate the information, use pattern recognition techniques. So that is how you have to process the signals. And how to use? Diagnose some disease or give it to monitor, give feedback to the body. And this is all we are doing to the doctors, right? Aiding to the doctors. Biomedical engineers are not replacement to doctors, please understand, right? So we are supporting their decision making, and with the advent of deep learning and artificial intelligence, definitely we will help them a lot. So this is just a block diagram of basic generic instrument which most of you know. So I will skip. I have included it just to make these slides complete. And this is a multimodal monitoring system, for example, in neurosurgery. So lots of equipment are available nowadays in the ICU, right? And thanks to biomedical engineers, right? Then what is imaging? Imaging nothing but 2D signals, right? So 2D signal itself is image. So there are lots of modalities of image signals. And what is 3D signal? 3D signal is a video, probably with some kind of fMRI or PET, positive electron tomography, right? All these things you will be getting during the course of this. For example, this is fMRI. So functional imaging is when we acquire image of a brain when it is stimulated in some way. So we can have brain activation of the person subject, and then you can take where exactly the brain is stimulating, right? Where it is stimulating more, where it is stimulating less. So that is called as functional imaging. Okay. The biomaterials are part of this, where you use materials used for implantation. For example, total knee replacement, KNR, sorry, total knee replacement, right? TKR, total knee replacement. So what is total knee replacement? This is the surgery where you literally cut the part of your uh, knee and replace it with new material, right? So this is a branch called as biomaterial. Now biomechanics is mechanics applied to biomedical and medical problems, right? So this can be done for study of a motion or a material deformation, or you can do it for flow within the body and the devices, or transport of chemical and across biological and synthetic data. As an example, you can have artificial heart replacement, heart wall, etc., etc. You must be also knowing some of the experiments. For example, on one of the spin bowlers of Sri Lanka, I think Muthaiya Muralidharan, where his action was in suspicion, and then using the biomechanics technique, it was clarified that he has not violated any rule there, but his hand itself was having some deformity, and that's why the angle was having some problem. Okay, so that branch where the movement of the body is captured and analyzed is called as biomechanics branch. Then there is a biomolecular engineering branch, and as an example, you have targeted drug delivery, a kind of say a patch which you can put on the top of the skin like this, right? You know how this patch will be very helpful, for example, in the patients of diabetes, because severe diabetic patients have has to take injections, isn't it? So I think say thrice a day, or if it is severe, 5 times a day. Then how painful it is every time to take injections, right? Instead of that, if you have a patch which you can just put on the hand, correct? And there is some drug which is insulin, which is there inside that patch, and that insulin slowly gets inside the body. Insulin slowly gets inside the body. This branch is called as transdermal drug delivery. Transdermal drug delivery. And it's a very good way to do it. Now, why this is not taking much advances, I really don't know, because some 15 to 20 years ago, I have read that even transdermal drug delivery was available even for contraceptives, right? So contraceptives, I think all of you are adults, so you know what contraceptive means, right? So contraceptives with just a patch. Then it's bioinformatics and bioelectronics, no need of explaining. I will definitely take a minute here. What is bio MEMS? MEMS is microelectromechanic systems, and you can involve biomedical engineering principles here, for example, for sensing, for actuating something. And if you use the biology and microtechnology and interface it, then you can have lots of bio MEMS available, right? So this is also, I don't know why there are no much progress here. People are not fancied about this branch, but this branch definitely should deliver lots of things. Most of the thing why biomedical engineering is not that much spectacularly making progress, because very few things are done for reducing the deaths actually. The branch of, for example, vaccination, right? COVID vaccine. Everybody is expecting COVID vaccine because immediately it stops deaths. So I don't know why other things are not doing rounds, right? So lab on a chip. So this is a kind of example of lab on a chip. So this is a futuristic scenario. You have a capsule in which there is a drug reservoir, there is a transmitter, and there is a battery with certain electronic circuit here. And what this is doing, this is basically having say openable muscles, artificial muscles. You implant this somewhere near say your left side or right side. Right side is shown here, so right side, and it will open these pores and release some chemicals into the body like this. Here you can see, once your blood sugar level is more than say 120 or so. So this is a future scenario, definitely it will be available. Then you have rehabilitation engineering. This picture you can identify, earlier also I have shown, right? You have biosensor electrodes, you have telemedicine. Nowadays, you know, telemedicine is happening in a very big way in COVID, because why this is again not picking up, because I know we get satisfied when you go to the doctors, right? So there is a psychological advantage, right? So cyber security is also important for biomedical engineers, and image processing, obviously. So image processing most of you must be doing, and most of the lectures I can understand will be on image processing only. Okay, so I'll just skip all the image processing part because I can see only 5 minutes are remaining. So you just will be getting the knowledge on image processing during the course of the entire FDP. There are various types: X-rays, then CT is itself X-ray, SPECT image, positron emission tomography image, PET, ultrasound, MRI, fMRI. Then what you do, either you do anatomical analysis or you do functional analysis. Okay, so this is how the multidisciplinary paradigm is there. I'll just skip all these general performance measures,
and all the ROC. Okay. So why I have included all these? Because just knowing the topic is not important, but understanding the topic is important. It should set up the tone for your entire FDP. And this is a cartoon just to explain what do you mean by resistance, inductance, and capacitance. Right? Resistance to eating cake will make you thin. Inductance of eating cake, if somebody else is eating, you eat, you will have some temptation. And capacitance, eating cake, entire cake, right, addition will make you fat. Okay, so some things definitely which we can do is the ECG signal processing, EEG signal processing, EMG, biomedical image analysis, hardware design for biomedical application, wireless applications for biomedical, deep learning and AI applications. Most of the things we are doing in our institute, and we have Center for Biomedical, Center for Signal and Image Processing, as you know, Center of Excellence for Signal and Image Processing. So most of the things we do. Very recently, we are also doing the new experiments on EEG-based emotion analysis and recognition. We are also exploring the effects of meditation and EEG. And in August itself, I got one RPS from AICT with the topic of effect of meditation on physiological signal, where Professor Manthakar and I will be exploring this meditation. So if some of you are interested in joining research in this topic, you can just contact me. Okay. So finally, all this, because there is no time in explaining, but if organizers are listening to me right now, and if some of the session is probably either have to be cancelled or something like that, you can contact me, then I can have entire session with me and Professor Manthakar on what we are doing on effect of meditation and yoga on physiological signals such as EEG, ECG, etc., right? So I hope organizers are listening. Okay.
Yes, sir, definitely. We will arrange for that.
Yes. So finally, I would like to just tell two important things about biomedical engineering, that it is either interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary field that applies engineering principles to medicine with the aim of providing better health care. And biomedical engineering has its own professional status nowadays. It's a regulated profession. So fastest growing profession, at least outside India, is in the countries like US and Europe. Okay. So just a few cartoons. Who gains with the PhD? It's not researcher basically, but mostly senior author's promotion, the first author's job depend on the study. We take it lightly, okay? So novelty is definitely important in publishing papers, but this kind cannot be the novelty. For example, somebody has invented law of gravity. You know who I am talking about, right? So apples fell down, and the law of gravity was invented. You thought that now I will publish a paper, and you see oranges also fall down due to the law of gravity, and you say that oranges are different than apples. So my paper is novel, but this is not novelty, guys, right? So just by changing apple with oranges, you cannot say that my paper is novel. Similarly, you cannot be having some papers like where it's involved with somebody's life. For example, there was an acupuncture specialist, and who has invented a novel acupuncture point over the heart, and then he has to be jailed. Correct? Simple. So some are very lucky in the research. Basically, you start with a target in the mind. As I told you, begin with the end in mind. So very good begin end, right? So you plan a simple life, but it is not. It is not. The reality is very harsh. You have to go through lots and lots of pains, right? So the journey of the researcher can be, I mean, summed with these three quotes, which I like very much. That the first one is, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, then only you can sail through your research. This is from the famous poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, and this is also a line or two lines rather, which are they are kept at the entrance of the main Wimbledon Stadium, the main court of the Wimbledon. There is another quote which I like the most is sometimes a noble failure also serves the world as faithfully as distinguished success. So research doesn't mean always success, right? Research doesn't mean always success. Sometimes
a big failure, a noble failure also is showing the path to others that please don't go on this path. Okay, please don't go on this. Please don't walk on the path. The third statement which I like is our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in the in rising every time we fall. This is Confucius statement, a great Chinese researcher. Okay, and choose your supervisor probably who allows you to walk on the difficult path, right? So don't choose supervisor which allows you to choose a simple path. Okay, tougher review is always better. If somebody is beating you, it's very good. So send your papers to good journals. Finally, I would like to close with two quotes from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, whom I like and idol. He is kind of my idol. So one of the statement from Wings of Fire: technology, unlike science, is a group activity. It is not based on individual intelligence, but on the interaction of many people. And second thought, thinking should become your capital asset, no matter what your ups and downs you come across your life. Thinking you should never stop. And finally, how to do research? People will tell use MATLAB, isn't it? So that is most often statement which you will like. As a last part, there is a story which is just 15-second story. I'm very sorry that I have extended time a little bit, but the story is called "A Great Work is Its Own Reward." So just listen to my statements carefully and watch what I'm showing. It's just a 15-second story. The story's name is "Great Work is Its Own Reward." When someone tells you that you can't do something, look around. Consider all options, then go for it. Use all the traits within you. Be creative. In the end, you will succeed. So thank you very much. I thank again the organizers for this. My personal email ID is suhasgajre@gmail.com, and my WhatsApp number is 9421851011. I will give these numbers in the chat box also, and I will end this sharing and open my video. So if there are some questions, if you are still open to questions, I am open for these questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Very good, interesting talk, sir. Sir, there are few questions from the participants.
Yes.
The question is, you said good journals. The publication should be good journal. What care should be taken while selecting journals?
So that I have already showed via cartoon.
Yeah, sir.
That if the review is tougher, the journal
that is it. But nowadays it's H index, SCI, Scopus that ways. And can you throw some light on this?
So actually, a good journal takes time to review, right? So those
Yes,
journals who are not taking time to review, right? So you can say that if you send a paper now and within 2 days they are giving you your review, then you can rest assured that that journal probably